5 reasons your man choosing somebody else in the relationship. So 5 reasons your man could be cheating on you, could be flirting with other women, and it's always these 5 reasons. It's never. And before I will start this conversation, I want to tell you, this is not about sex. Sex is not one of those reasons. Men never look for sex outside of the relationship, and you will understand once I will give you these 5 reasons, and you can just see which one is actual in your relationship. So usually a man and a woman in a relationship developing together. And if a man starts looking outside, or a woman for that matter, but we're talking about men in this video, usually something is missing in the relationship, and this something there is 5 of them. The first one is lightness. When the relationship becomes, I always say, don't get dissolved in your relationship and in your man. When the relationship becomes predictable, heavy, somewhat convenient, like a piece of furniture, like this armchair that I'm sitting on. It's cute, but it's heavy. It's always there. There is no lightness. There is no kind of playfulness in it. So the man could be looking for that, for lightness, especially if a woman is very conveniently positioning herself already as and she doesn't see any kind of need to entertain anybody or to do anything. So lightness is the first one, and usually the most thought after. Remember, when you started dating, you probably were very light, you were very excited and everything. The second one is usually freedom. Freedom is something that men look for. Why? Because in the relationship, often we become very, there is a lot of control, especially in our society, or in any, I think. If you're in a relationship, you can't talk to somebody, you can't look at anybody, you obviously are not supposed to be socializing with somebody who your woman doesn't know. You could not be dressed in a particular way, you could not do certain activities, which is all wrong. So there's a lot of control, and obviously any person would want to get rid of that control, and especially masculine men that are not designed to be controlled, especially they are looking for that freedom. I mean, some weaker kind of men, they wouldn't be looking for that freedom. They would be maybe trying to steal that freedom here and there, maybe going for a night out with guys or something like that. But for the most part, a man, he needs to feel like he's in control of his own life. So he will constantly be looking for freedom if you will decline that freedom for him. So how does it look? He will be flirting and talking to others, because while he's doing that, there is the freedom. It's his choice, and he will cherish that. Now, the more you control your man, the more chances are that this is what he will be looking for. He will be looking for freedom in another relationship. He probably will not. He probably will get back to where he's with you now, because we usually move in patterns, but that's what it is. So the third one that men are usually looking outside of the relationship is sensuality. Sensuality is very common thing, and don't confuse it with intimacy. So let me explain to you. Usually a man and a woman connect together. A woman is feminine, a man is masculine, and so they complement each other. They grow together as masculine, feminine kind of energies together. But then something usually happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this, I see it often in my clients, I see it in my friends, in a lot of people around me. So what happens usually both of them become masculine, because we live in a masculine society, especially for a woman. She's making her own money, she has her own career, whether you want it or not, she start acting masculine. Now there is two masculinities, and there's nobody who is soft and sensual. There is no feminine energy, and that's what a man will start looking for in another woman. Why? Because a masculinity can only develop with the femininity, and if you are not excuse me. And if you are not projecting that femininity in the relationship, then he will need, unconsciously, he will need and crave it outside. Where can a man also find femininity? Maybe in if you have children, in daughters. So daughters that are feminine, just by socializing with them, a man could get this burst of feminine energy. Could be also from his mother, if his mother is feminine. But for the most part, that happens often, and I see it from my clients. This is one of the biggest reasons of why a man starts looking outside. He's looking outside because he's looking for something that you had when you both started dating. When you started dating, you were very careful about what you say, you were very soft-spoken, you were very kind of submissive, accepting, and he liked that about you. But then you became comfortable, and the man started looking, man didn't like that. I mean, obviously he wants that soft, accepting, somewhat vulnerable woman in his life. Doesn't mean that he would abuse that softness and vulnerability. No, usually men are pretty good about defending what is his, not abusing. But remember that if you want to stay with the man, you have to stay feminine. You have to be a feminine woman with the masculine man. If he is masculine, he will need the femininity to develop himself. You see, if you are very masculine, if you have a career, if you're working, if you're making more money than he is, why is he in your life? He is not needed. He doesn't feel like a hero. He doesn't feel like you even need him in his life. He feels very useless, very not validated, and this is a huge hit on his ego. You must understand how masculinity works before blaming him for something. So if he feels like he's not needed, like you don't even kind of need him, you don't appreciate him, you don't really care for him much, he will start looking for somebody who will need. This usually happens also in the non-even couples. So for example, if let's imagine I'm not dating nobody now, and I will give a chance to somebody who I really don't even admire, just to waste time. So the guy knows that he's not good enough for me, and I obviously am not acting much feminine around him, because I know this is just temporary thing, and he will want to find somebody who he will admire, who he will actually be a hero to. I actually have a friend who dated a guy for 3 years. So in their countries, there's still like a little aristocracy, I guess, going on. So she was from a somewhat aristocratic family, and he was not. So he was like a peasant, and he knew that she was from aristocratic family. So even though they both live here in United States, and they both kind of equal, their energy was like this. Hers was high because she was from aristocratic family, and his was a little low because he knew he would never be on her level, because he was not born in a family like this. So what happened after 5 years of dating, and he was lavishing her with gifts and with everything, and I think in her mind she was thinking that at one point they would have to make it official, and she would have to kind of to shock her family with this kind of choice. But he actually started cheating on her. Why? Because he felt that no matter how much he does, he will never be enough, and she will never be that soft woman that needs him. She will never allow him on the same level as her, and he started cheating. He started looking for a woman who is needing him, who is feminine around him, who looks at him and admires him. A woman who would be feminine around him, you see. And again, it could only happen on the same level, or at least when a man is a little higher. So that's the third reason, sensuality. This is, I would say, the most popular reason why men look around. They are looking for that sensuality, for that femininity that their woman doesn't have. No matter how many kids you have, no matter how good you communicate together, the sensuality is something, it's energy that comes from their inside. And you could not fake it, honestly. You can tell, I love you so many times, but if you don't feel yourself, if you don't feel this kind of pleasure, your man will start looking, because he will have the urge for something. All right. So the fourth reason is interest. A man starts looking for interest. Remember, masculine men are very challenge driven, so they need to have some kind of they need to be stimulated constantly and all the time. And usually in the relationship, especially in the relationship when you dissolve in each other, this is what happened. A woman or a man, or both of them, they start losing their identity. So they tell each other everything. They gossip about everybody. They share everything, their problems, how they feel, and everything. There is no mystery. There's no individuality. You before you were dating, you were like this, separate two individualities, and then you got dissolved. Now there is no really individuality. You both are like one unknown with no borders, no separate auras, and that makes you uninteresting and kind of boring for him, very predictable, like this, like my armchair. So this is, and the man, he obviously doesn't want, nobody wants to live with somebody who is super predictable, who is well known, who just, it's not interesting. So a man will start looking for some kind of spark outside, as if he will meet somebody who is interesting, who is an individual. He will want to continue communicating with that another person. Remember, a woman maybe doesn't need that much mental stimulation as a man might need. So they will be constantly on the lookout for somebody who is more interesting than the woman that he is now with. That's why I always say, don't dissolve in your man, don't spoil your relationship for yourself. But this is another one, interest. Interest is something that men are looking for, and if you're not interesting to your man, then sorry to say it, he will find somebody who will be interesting. Maybe he could maybe get some kind of new project, new friends that would be interesting, that would be stimulating. But again, if you are not okay with him hanging out with with new friends, then he will start looking for a woman that would be interesting. And the last one is excitement for life. This also happens when you become not only very comfortable with each other, but almost like uninterested in each other. So there is really, especially it could happen like when you are like in a routine. So you have a couple kids, you have a house, you have the mortgage, you have the insurances, you have like the bills, you have the jobs and everything, and there is like this, like blah, nothing else, no excitement going on. And remember, the woman is the one who brings the excitement to life. She's bringing the pleasure and the excitement. And if she's not creating that pleasure and excitement in her, obviously her man doesn't have it, and the whole family doesn't have it, and it's all gloom and depressing. And a man wants some kind of entertainment, some kind of excitement outside. Remember, masculinity is very selfish, and therefore he really doesn't care that you are depressed, that you have some kind of issues. A man will always look where he can grab the energy, and if he could not grab that energy from you, then he will find it in other women. Now, if you could not, your task is to enjoy yourself, to replenish your energy, to feel pleasure, and learn how to be selfish as well. But this is what men are looking for, and this is also a very common reason for a man to look outside for something, excitement for life, some kind of interest. I have actually a client, and he's a man, and he has a fiance, and he said once to me, he said, I like you, I admire you so much, you have so much light, you are so interested, you have so many plans for. Honestly, I don't know where he's getting this from, because I really don't share my life. I guess maybe he's watching my YouTube videos, or maybe something else, so I'm not sure. Maybe he knows some people that I know, but this is what he told me. He's like, I wish my fiance was like this, which is absolutely unacceptable. And I told him that you can do it for her, you can create some kind of security, so she will feel this pleasure and excitement, and if she would feel safe with you, she would be able to feel the same way I feel. I obviously work with my energy a lot, so I am able to create it without a man, but any woman can feel like this. So if you have this issue, if you feel like you're depressed, if you feel like nothing is making you happy, and you are expecting your man to make you happy, chances are very high he's going to go and look for that excitement outside. So these are 5 reasons, and trust me, I mean, I've been working with energy and with mind for many years. There is no other reason, really. Intimacy is is I mean, not even 1%. So the reasons are, again, it's lightness, when the relationship becomes heavy and predictable. That's the first reason. So a man is looking for lightness. The second one is freedom, especially when the relationship is super controlled. The more you control your man, the faster he will start looking for freedom. The third one is sensuality. When you are suddenly from being a feminine woman becoming a masculine woman, a man is obviously confused, and he would, whether you want it or not, will start looking where he can get that feminine energy. I mean, I'm just a messenger, so I'm just telling you how it is. I work with enough clients to tell you that I'm absolutely right. The fourth one is interest. When you lose your identity, when your life is just blah, I mean, you're not interesting to yourself, don't expect be interesting to a man. Men are very, they need some kind of development all the time, they need some new information, new energy, so they will start looking for that interest. And lucky for you if they will start looking, maybe will get new hobbies or new friends, but often this is a new woman that they feel like really interested in. It's like a new challenge, a new task, and they are all into it. And the fifth reason is excitement for life. When you're depressed, don't expect your man to fix your life for you. He will leave you. And I'm telling you, as a person who actually went through this, I always believed, if I'm not happy, my man's supposed to drop everything, run to me and make my life happy, and sit next to me and cuddle with me and bring me tasty things and everything. And I was abusing it at the beginning. Yeah, of course, he will do it 1, 2, 3 times. But at one point he will be like, listen, if you're not happy with yourself, I don't need your depressed persona around me. And that's exactly what happened. I actually lost quite a few of my relationships. I didn't lose them, but they started breaking apart when this happened. Especially one relationship, I was really not even dependent on the guy, but I expected him to entertain me every weekend. And he had a few restaurants, so it wasn't like an easy task for him. So what happened, he started cheating on me, because every time we would be together, I would be just complaining. Hey, you didn't call me, I was waiting, I wanted to go out like this. And at one point, my depressive behavior started getting into him, and he started looking for somebody who is more excited about life, who is more pleasant about life, and not as gloomy and depressing. So these are the 5 reasons. There are no other reasons. If you think your man wants to try a new position and you are not doing it with him, and that's why he's looking for other, no, it's not. It's never like this. Never ever. I have a lot of friends, men. I have a lot of admirers, and every time I ask them, it's one of these reasons. It's never about sex. It's never about intimacy. All right, let me know if you have questions. I will see you in another video. Bye, everybody.